Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make GUIs using the macro mod. So first let's go into theories. Okay, so first thing you want to notice, oh wait, it didn't show up. Whenever I log in, I always have, this is the most important part right here. Hero who is, and then your name. You do this, just do this for now, it'll be really, really important later. Trust me. The way you get to it, you open up your macro configuration, click this button on join game right here. Alright. Now, whenever you're making macros, the first thing that you want to do, or making GUIs, the first thing that you want to do is going into your GUI editor and making a new screen. When you make a new screen, you know, this to be test. It'll come up to this, exit. There's a GUI screen. Now the way this works is that in order for it to show up, for example, I'll show you guys how to make this later. For it to show up like the way it does there, we can see sprint, jump, shadow step, all these macros. In order for it to show up like that, what you're gonna have to do, sorry, one sec. In order for it to show up like that, what you're gonna have to do, this has to be dragged and placed in here, in the in-game slot right here. Okay. That's how it'll work. Just like whenever I change this, all my Harbinger cooldowns or all my Harbinger GUIs will show up. So you're gonna have to go into your GUIs and make a new GUI screen. Okay. Now once you go in that GUI screen, the way you make the labels themselves, you have to adjust the grid to make it however big you want it to be. Let's just make it 14 by 7 so that it's nice and symmetrical. You make a new label, place it down. The control name, the way I do it, always the control name is never capitalized. It's always, let's say web. Label text is web ready. So generally, this is what you're going to want to do. The control name is almost always what the skill name is. It's just custom, but it's just a generally good thing to do. Control name is always undercapitalized. It's always not uncapitalized, and just no spaces, nothing. Uncapitalized, no spaces, just the name of the skill. Label text is you have to capitalize it, and then space ready and exclamation point. Okay, no binding. You can have a shadow, and every single one opacity. You have to click on background color, drag the opacity all the way to 0. Okay. The text line is always middle center. Alright, so that's that. That is a test. Okay, so how to make a mana bar is also good. Mana bar requires both the use of a label and a progress bar. Label will be like so, you know, so on and so forth. You make it just mana, for example. And then make the label text. This is always good. Mana : 100. Okay. Background color once again. Opacity 0. Middle center. No shadow on this one. It's actually a little bit more difficult to read if there's a shadow down there. No binding once again. Okay. Actually, let me make the color blue. All right. Now for the label. Here's another important thing to notice. Sorry. Here's another important thing to notice. If you only had a mana bar in this tiny space right below here, it would actually be really, really difficult to read. So what you can do is you can go into adjust grid. You see this auto right here. The reason I made it 7 wide is because it would be symmetrical. See 3, 1, 3. There would be this middle place here where the mana bar would fit nicely. You would go there, and the column width would come up auto. Set this to like 140. Maybe longer, 150, 160, 160. Okay, so all of these are the same size, but the middle one's larger. and this is where the mana bar goes. You put a progress bar directly underneath that. Progress bar would be called mana P for progress. Remember, no capitals. The EXPR would be the exact same thing. Mana P, no capitals. Min value 0, max value is 100. EXPR checked for both of them. Opacity to 0. Once again, blue. Opacity 0 for background color. Foreground color, make it blue. Don't change the opacity for the foreground color. And horizontal. And that's how to make the label. Now, how to make the code. The code is a little bit more complicated. You guys could always just PM me on, my name is Satera, on the Atheres forums, or on Skype, or in game, doesn't matter, any of them, if you guys ever need help with it. So let me just put this here. You can see the mana there. Now how to make it work. Oh, while I'm at it, please just disregard this. I'm going to be adding that web thing, add button, not button, label. Web and web ready. Okay. Opacity 0, middle center, shadow. Alright. So there's that. Now how to make these codes. The codes, the moment you understand how the codes work, you could always just edit them for every single one. So let's go to spell thief, grab the mana code, make a new file. I'll explain all this to you guys in a sec, hold on. And grab the one for web as well. Okay. Alright, so here we go. So, for making the mana bar, which is right there in the middle, what you have to do, go to the text editor, okay, make a file. Alright. I'll have these codes, like, I'll have versions of these codes that are like templates. I'll have them set up in the comments below for you guys to be able to use it. Now what you do, I'll just go through it step by step. If matches, just reach chat, and it reads for this. This is it reads for this thing right here, everything between the parentheses. Okay? Now what it would look like in between the parentheses is this. If I type /mana, that's what it looks for. It reads chat for a version of that. For example, if I use Fireball, hold on. If I use Fireball, it reads mana and then the bar and then space 97, 95%, and 100%. It reads for that. And then once it does that, it places it in the GUI screen there. So look, if I press it, it moves down. Okay. So let's go back to test. So once it does that, it sets the label whose control name is mana. It sets it to this. Everything between the parentheses, again, it sets it to that. Okay? It says mana, colon, and then the number that was collected, that was read from the chat, it sets it to this number. Once it does that, it sets the progress bar to that level, that percentage number as well, and that's it. So, what would this look like? Let's actually see. Get rid of that, just set it to mana, P, and this should be good. This should work. Let me actually make a new configuration test. Just check something real quick. By the way, with everything that you do with on-chat macros and GUIs, you're always going to have to put the text file where all your codes are located in the on-chat event for that configuration. So for the test, we place here. My file was called test, so this will be called test. And GUI, let's just make sure everything's mana. Actually, like this. Let's set this to mana test, web test, and test. Alright, just to make it unique from all the other ones. Text editor, mana test, mana p test. Alright, so the control name has to match what it is on the label, control name has to match what it is on the label. They always have to match. Alright? What'll it look like? /skill fireball. Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm on my wrong configuration. My wrong GUI configuration. See, it's on spell thief here. Has to be test. See, there you go. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Let me change something. See, this is where troubleshooting comes in. Why is it not showing up? The control name, EXPR. Sorry. Disregard. Let's see what the problem is. You can see the mana is actually working, but the progress bar is not. We shall soon find out why. Perhaps it is this. Why don't we make sure? There you go. Alright, you always have to have that hashtag. Okay, so, as you can see, the mana works. Skill, fireball. See? Mana bar moves down, etc., etc. Just to clarify on how to do this, GUI screen has to be placed there. Okay, go there. The label, this is the label. Have something for the control name. Label text, always set it to mana, all caps, colon, space 100. Opacity 0, middle center, no shadow, foreground color blue. Control name at hashtag, and then the specific control name makes the expression the exact same thing. EXPR expression, the exact same thing as the control name. Min value 0, max value 100. Expression make it checked for both. You know, opacity 0 for background color, foreground color, make it blue, and it should work. Now, the code, you will see it's there. Mana p test. This is for the label. This is for the label. This is for the progress bar. All right. Okay. Now, web test. I'm pretty sure I changed it to that. Let's make sure. Test web test. All right. This one does not have to have an add hashtag. Don't worry about it. Add hashtag is only for control names and EXPR values for the progress bar. Only for the progress bar. Excuse me. Okay. So whenever it comes to GUIs for these, this is how it works. It reads chat. Whenever you see chat clean, it always reads chat. All right. And everything between the parentheses. Jojo9795 used or conjured a web at so and so's feet. Now, if you have multiple accounts that have multiple mages on them, obviously this is not going to work because your account name is not going to be the same. How do you fix this? %, player, %, player. Player always refers to the player himself, the person who's using the skill. Player conjure the web at this right here. Sorry, this. I got this right here. That is just a way of putting it so that it's the person's name, the other person's name that shows up. It's any way of making it so that any person other than you, whose name shows up in chat, is represented by that. Player conjure the web at so-and-so's feet. Set. Now, this is an expedited version. This is an expedited way of making these things work. It's set. You have to. All of these are individual. So, for example, if you have multiple GUIs, you set it to count EE1 for the first GUI screen, for the first GUI label. Okay, for let's say for web. If you're an Orpheant and you have hold, you do count EE space, no, count EE and then 2, count EE and 3 for the next one. If it was like Pigify, if the next one's confused, count EE and 4. The point is, for each piece of code, for the pieces of code for each different skill, and which refers to each different GUI label, they have to be specific to that one GUI label. Okay? So it'd be count EE1 for web. Okay? The cooldown I already know is 25 seconds. And this is the part where guess and check is actually important. The concept of this not being 25 seconds, you would expect it to be, well, okay, so by what you can see here, you would expect it to count down from 23 seconds, which it does, and for this to end early. However, this is where you're wrong. The timer inside the Heroes plugin is slightly fast. What does that mean? It means that even though this is shorter than 25 seconds, they'll still finish at the same time because the Heroes timer that counts the cooldowns will go slightly faster. So even though it's 25 seconds, okay, it'll catch up to the counter for the macro mod, which is what this is. So if you use a skill, it'll start counting down from 23 on the macro mod, and it'll start counting down from 25 on your heroes, on the heroes like cooldown, the actual cooldown for the server. But they'll end at the same time because the hero's cooldown is slightly faster than the one on the macro mod. So you always have to make it a little bit. You have to always make this one a little bit less than the one that's inside the macro mod. So, for example, and oh, by the way, whenever this goes up into higher, larger and larger numbers, the effect is multiplied. So if it's only 25 seconds, it's only you have to only decrease by like 2. And like 35 seconds, also 2, maybe 3. 40 seconds, 3. You move up to like 100 seconds, it's like 6. So you have to compensate for 6 seconds. So there's that. So you guys got that. It has to be each different label, each different piece of code has to have its own. So if I was meant to make one for like if this one was supposed to be like used Pigify on, and then this guy, and that guy, it says player used Pigify on so and so. This would have to be 2, and you'd have to do this for every single one. So it would be county 1, county 1, county 1, county 1. You'd have to change this to web test, web ready. Okay. And then this one would have to be county 2, county 2, county 2, county 2, county 2, and Pigify test. Sorry, this would also have to be changed. Pigify test. This would have to be changed. Pigify. This would have to be changed. Pigify. Okay. You guys generally see what's going on here? Set label, you see how these two are both referring to the whenever you have set label, the first thing that it gets referred to is a control name. See how the control name is the exact same here? Okay. This one sets it to once you use the skill. Okay, once you use the skill, it starts off the cooldown. Pigify, and then it sets it to the number. Pigify hyphen, and then the number, and it starts counting down. The DEC is decrement. It starts decreasing by 1. Okay, and then the moment it's between -1000 and 1000, it'll stop. I'm sorry, the moment it's between these two, it'll just stop. You guys don't have to ever change this except for the counties. The set label, Pigify test, and Pigify ready. You know, for like, I don't know, for confused, be confused ready. And you'd have to set this to confuse. You know, confuse, and you have to set this to confuse, and that to confuse. You have to have the right thing in the chat. You have to set this to a different county because it's its own thing. So, well, that's that. You have this. Now we go looking for a victim. County 1, you know. Oh, let's just make sure we have everything. Test. That's ready. GUI editor. Test. Pigified. Web test. Web ready. Alright. Okay. Let's bind it to the sword. Alright, let's go. Actually, here, let's just try it on a zombie here, look. See? Cooldown went off. But watch this. Just to illustrate the point. Just to illustrate the point that, what do you call it, what happened? They'll end at the same time. I have a thing that does /CD. See? They're slowly getting to the same time. They're going to end at the same time, too, because the heroes is a little bit faster than the one, so you see it ends at the same time. There you go. Heroes is a little bit faster than the one in the macro mod, so you're just going to have to compensate by making the one in the macro mod slightly less than the one in the heroes. So if it was 25 seconds cooldown for heroes, you'd make it a 23-second timer in your macro mod. Okay. Now, what else was I going to do? What else was I gonna do? What else was I gonna do? Oh, right. Now, the most common problem that occurs whenever people are dealing with making GUIs for multiple classes, you know, multiple configurations, etc. They happen to come upon the problem that, let's say you are on, I don't know, Doomsayer, and you're having the issues of you're on the Doomsayer configuration for your macros, see, and trying to use burning presence, etc. It's not where it's where let's say I was a Doomsayer. What would happen was that would be that, or actually, better illustrate the point. I am a Sylvan Knight right now, so let's say I am, you know, wait, what? Oh no, I'm a Sanguinaire. Wrong account. Okay, so, you know, Fireball, all this shit. However, it doesn't have, this is the wrong GUI screen. So what do I have to do? I have to just go through it like manually. Well, unless you do this, which is a little bit more complicated. I'll do in a different video. The way you change it, you go into the GUI editor. Okay. Usually you just have to press the grave button. It's the one directly above tab and it's between 1 and tab. Okay, on the top left side of your keyboard. Usually press grave. This comes up. First one right here, GUI editor. Exit. Sorry, wrong one. You have to go into your macros manually. GUI editor that way. And you have to put the you have to, you know, manually drag which one you want. So let's say I was on Spell Thief, I would drag Spell Thief into the in-game right there, and then it would show up. Which is not actually that bad. Doesn't really take that long. If I want a Prowler, I'll set the Prowler like that. you know, Cryomancer, which I don't really have one for except for the mana bar, which I count. Cryo literally has like 3 skills, but anyway, that's besides the point. So yeah, that's how you change it manually. Doing it relatively automatically, I'll make it in a different video. Plus, the guy doesn't really reveal all of his secrets now, does he? Thank you for watching.